What's up everybody, and thank you for joining me for another video. My name is Whack4863, but you can call me Whack. Today I want to look at Conan Exiles on PlayStation 5. Now, I know you guys have wanted to see this video, and I'm a bit late at getting to this. But this is footage that you're seeing post the most recent patch that Funcom put out to the console version of the game. I know there are still some consoles waiting for this. I believe Xbox is waiting for it, but it should have made it to PlayStation yesterday, and it came to Xbox Game Pass just this morning. Now, one thing you'll notice right off the bat is there's this very odd lightning style flicker as you're loading into the game that is currently still going on. But it does appear that most things that weren't rendering prior to this update are actually rendering at this point in time. So on the left-hand side of the screen, it is prior to yesterday's update. And on the right-hand side of the screen, you can see what it looks like since the update. So it does appear that these things have been fixed when it comes to the rendering issues of the DLC items, both the armor and the DLC building pieces. Additionally, it appears that the rendering issue for mobs has been fixed. On the left-hand side of the screen, you can see that my Komodo dragon is just eyeballs. On the right-hand side of the screen, you saw that my Komodo dragon was actually visible. Now, I'm just going to play some footage of kind of me running around as just a head at this point in time. This is prior to yesterday's update. So this is the update that came out on September 1st. Now, you could say that Funcom did a really good job of turning around and having another fix already in the works for a quick turnaround time. However, it really is discouraging to see that this happened at all. And the reason why is because over the matter of 3 days, 4 days, whatever you want to call it, people had to play the game this way. There was no way around playing like this. And for this to be a very, very large patch for Conan Exiles on 3 different platforms. So we're talking about PlayStation, we're talking about Xbox, and we're talking about the Microsoft Store / Game Pass. Those are 3 different platforms. So the game launched great on PC. There were a few minor issues. Some of those issues were similar to what we were seeing on the PlayStation versions where there were invisible assets, but it wasn't as big of an impact as it was on the consoles and on those versions of the game that I stated. And the thing is that really, at the end of the day, you can't have a product launch on all these different platforms and have such a varying disparity of gameplay experience. There were plenty of people that came into the comments of my videos saying, how are you even playing this game? This is the most garbage update we've ever had. And for them, that was their experience. And you can't fault them for stating that, because really that was their experience. And I can tell you that if I really played on the console version of the game at this point in time, I would have been upset as well. And there's nothing wrong with that. Funcom really needs to figure out how to get the patches to all the different platforms in the same way. It's great that they want to get them to all the platforms at the same time, but it needs to be the same gameplay experience across all those platforms as well. Here's the way that I look at it. There are multiple platforms that you could pick the game up. There's Steam, there's Epic Store, there is the Microsoft Store, there is the Xbox Game Pass, which the Microsoft Store and Xbox Game Pass are kind of the same product, but then there is PlayStation, and then there is Xbox. Now, from my understanding, Steam and Epic Store, those launched perfectly. There weren't many issues. They were able to patch them quickly, not a big deal. However, for those other platforms, PlayStation, Xbox, Microsoft Store, 3 different platforms, they all had major issues. You can't have 3 of the 5 platforms that you're launching the game to have major issues like this and think that that's okay, or think that people are going to continue to play the game and support the game if that's the experience that they're getting. Conan Exiles is an amazing game when it plays properly. And when it doesn't play properly, it is very discouraging for a lot of people that have put a ton of time into this game. You can see I'm running up invisible stairs right now, and if you don't know your base, if you don't know how it's designed, if you've got a doorway or a gate that was made out of DLC, you simply wouldn't even be able to leave your base or interact with the content at all. Now, I don't believe that Funcom did this intentionally. I don't think that it was their purpose or their plan or their design to have these kinds of issues. But they do need to understand that these kinds of issues are going to send people away. These kinds of issues are going to make people not want to play Conan Exiles because it is actually in an unplayable state. Now, I'm not entirely sure what all goes into the patches, why the consoles and the other versions of the game seem to have these issues when the PlayStation Steam-based or Epic Store game-based versions don't seem to have these issues. What I do know is Funcom needs to figure out a way to make these patches work on all the platforms the exact same way. That needs to be the goal, and that needs to eventually be the standard. Anything that is fallen short of that standard really does harm the multiple platforms that they're on. Now, honestly, this is a very short, very light peek at the problems that were in Conan Exiles on consoles. I don't have the time to spend testing everything both on PC and on console, so it's up to you guys to let me know in the comments section, what did I miss from the newest patch? Are things much better than they were before, or are there still major issues going on the platform that you're playing on? I'd like to thank all my YouTube members for your continued support. Y'all are absolute legends. If you'd like to become a legend, there's a button that says join on this page. Click that for details. There's 2 videos on the screen. Click one of those to watch next, and I'll meet you over there.